Hello and welcome to the theElpyDimension. I'm your guide Elpy, and this is mixed worm bin 4. I'm getting very distracted today. I need to be outside planting, but I wanted some worm castings. So here we are after checking on the blue worm bin and the Canadian Nightcrawler bin. Now I want to get in here and see if I can get these castings, or maybe I would have been better off going to bin 1. Shoot. Last time we were in here was 8 days ago on the 17th of May, 2025. Did I say today is the 25th of May, 2025? I can see lots of worms in the new material. We gave them weeds and grass clippings last time. Can't remember if we... Oh yeah, look at that. Can't remember if we gave them... food scraps. Oh yeah. Mainly today though, I just really want, okay, the onion that's been in there. And the worms are all around it. I don't believe that onions are bad for worms or that they don't like them. With a lot of foods, but it, you know, probably is best to exercise caution with your worm bins and be sure to only, you know, give them onions in moderation and citrus, and make sure that they have that it's in one area so they can get away from it if they don't like it. I think that really, with a lot of foods, it's just a matter of the food being the consistency that they want, you know, in the stage of being broken down that they want it to be in. Okay. I see that there weren't really worms in the... What did I have? This is... Oh, part of a watermelon. That's right. Part of a small watermelon. Now, there are baby worms and castings in the watermelon. And there's standing water down there. Problem here is that's too much nitrogen. Too much green. The grass and the melon. So let's just go ahead and put some paper down there. Then we'll put the melon. Some more paper. Super wet paper at that. Then we have plant parts. Onion. Green bean. Dried bean stalks from, or shells. And here's what we're going to do. My main goal for being in here. So the worms are there, but I don't think they're fond of, because it's probably too much nitrogen. Not enough paper mixed in. But like I said, I need castings. All right. So I believe it was this pocket, but I think I also spread it out. And whatever worms come with me in the castings will go in the new outdoor compost bin. I don't need a lot, but I need some. I'll probably pick out some of those worms right now, because I'm not even paying any attention. I just saw, yeah, that there were a lot. So a lot of this bin is new material. It's been a pretty rough, sloppy harvesting season for me. We're gonna have to get better. I didn't used to have this much trouble. But My fault, not the worms. Okay. This is, scoop all this stuff off the top. Okay. And like I said, I think it was also, I don't have a whole batch of new material prepared to make up for what I'm about to take out. But I'm not worried about that because I'm just going to spread the stuff that I've been putting in. I'm just going to spread that around. And I guess what I'm thinking is I'm going to wind up leaving a lot more of the old castings than I want. I mean, I can continue to harvest from this bin all that I want to. However, it's become such a fussy mess that now with the new material and that I'm just going to be done with it. So what I'm going to do is because I'm just making more work for myself and that's not good. I'll move some of this grass over here. Yeah. They still have, I've got part of a cantaloupe melon that I'm debating giving to bin 3 because I haven't been in there since the 1st. And these guys still have onion, and there's an apple over here, and that watermelon, and then all this grass. My instinct's telling me to let this bin settle in to what it is now. I'm going to fluff the crap out of it next time. But, yeah, I'm calling this a day. I'm calling this completely harvested, how I want it. I almost filled the 2-gallon bucket. And like I said, I need to be, hold on. I'll worry about bringing the bubble mailer back that I took off last time, next time. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick some of this clumpy stuff off the top. I don't need all of these castings today, but I'll work through them as I use them, and move worms outside. And there's going to be so many worms in here that I will most likely be bringing some back, because this is just, there's tons of cocoons as always in this bin, it seems. Yeah, but I've always say, oh, I got other stuff to do, and wind up down here. But today I just really wanted castings, and gosh, there's so many freaking cocoons, and that's great, but like, no, because I just need to move on. All right. Well, now I'm going to go over and just quickly give the bin number 3 what's left of that melon after I gave some to the blue worms and the Canadian Nightcrawlers. Now we'll... Heck, I probably could get a cleaner castings harvest out of any other bin. Probably even bin 3. But the worms are going to move down by default of the light, of being in the light. So when I go to use these here in a few minutes, there'll be, shouldn't be a whole bunch of worms on top, but I knew, I just kind of was roughly grabbing, so I knew that there's a lot of even just big new material that got scooped up in here. So for right now, I was like, you know, these just, and I'm not even going to worry about all these cocoons. 1, 2, 3. There's so many. I just can't. I just don't have the time. If you don't know, I did one video. I picked from the first harvest out of this bin. I saw so many cocoons that I was like, all right, that's it. I'm gonna do a cocoon experiment, if you will. And so I picked 200 cocoons out, and I haven't posted at this time that I'm recording this. I haven't posted the video yet, but I went ahead and emptied out that solo cup after almost I think 27 days. And so stay tuned for that, or go ahead and look for that on my channel in the All Things Worm Farming playlist, and see what the results of that are. And then on the harvest that followed that, or the first harvest, this is a mango pit. I harvested, 523 cocoons, and at the time that I record this, they are still a month later sitting in that little tiny container, and we'll get to them hopefully sooner than later. But for now, my time is up here. Hopefully, yeah, these cocoons are just gonna have to go. You know, it just feels crazy that they're breeding this much, right? And I'm just doing away with the cocoons. All their hard breeding work. And it's just going to all go outside. All right. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. Yeah, man, see, look at that right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, that's not one. That might be one. 8, just on the top here. You know, like, dang. That's fantastic, but I need these castings, and they're not going to sit long enough for those to hatch out and me to pick the worms out. Nope, they're going to get used here very shortly, because I need to plant my tomatoes out, and I'm going to get some peppers planted out. I probably really should have just looked in here, seen the mess that it was, and went to bin 1. Oh well, it's done now. I'm working on getting better at saying, oh well, it's done now. In my obsessive compulsive brain, I typically will continue, that looked like somebody's tail, to I will obsess about what I should have done, and go round and round and round and round about why a different decision would have been better. But I am actively working at saying, not just saying, oh well, it's done now, but acting on that, meaning I say, okay, well, no, it's done. You know how bad the consequences are that I just reduced my potential worm population, but this population is super healthy, and hopefully they will continue to breed, and we just move on. I have a total of 6 worm bins. 1 is a Canadian Nightcrawler bin, 1 is a blue worm bin, and 4 are mixed worm bins. So it is not like this is my only bin and I'm trying to breed worms to sell worms. So my brain needs to understand that it's okay. We'll see what happens. And then we can go forward and we can remember and say, hey, remember that time you did that one thing and it drove you nuts and you obsessively thought about it? Remember how it turned out? Act on that. And that is, yeah, it's going to be good. It's a work in progress. You don't just automatically stop being OCD. You don't just say, oh, I'm not going to obsess about stuff. But you just keep at it, you know. It's not unlike anything else. If you got an addiction to something, some people, sometimes, you know, you do get to a point to where you say, that's it, I'm done with this, and you're done. I smoked cigarettes in my youth, and one day I said, that's it, I'm done. You know, for all the people who died, actually it was after 9/11. I said, for all the people who died, I bet they wish they had a choice on what was about to happen to their life. And so I said, every time I smoke a cigarette, I'm shortening my life. And I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose not to do that in their memory. Now, have I gone on to exercise wonderfully perfect behavior, healthy behavior that doesn't shorten my life? Absolutely not. No, but I at least stopped that one. I found other ways to yeah. But anyways, that's a little tiny rant from me. If you enjoy these rants, then be sure to subscribe, because it's a great time to rant when fishing worms out of worm castings and telling yourself you need to be doing something else. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. Be safe. Be well. Do something good for yourself today. Bye for now.